Literally, this is like take 7 of this attempt at trying to create a YouTube video. You know, I am a professional. I do get paid to do video work for clients, photography, and it never ceases to amaze me. The hardest thing to do is when I'm just trying to do some simple tutorial or just talking to the camera here, but I'll get over it, I guess. Anyway, today's topic is talking about the audio issue on your everyday, this is a GoPro Hero 9, but it could be the 10, it could be the 8 or the 7, and how we deal with the audio issue, especially when you're outdoors in the wind. Now, as much as I'd like to take stuff like this out every time I go backcountry backpacking and camping, it is A, heavy, and B, cumbersome. I mean, you've got some wires hanging out, and the last thing I need to do is pull out a wire while it's hanging on my backpack or inside. I mean, imagine putting this in your backpack. That's just going to take up a lot of space. Space better used for shelter, food, stuff like that. So unless you've got assistance, pack mule, Sherpas, and getting paid some big bucks to get that kind of help, this ain't going to be coming with me when I do the backpacking. Sorry, I think I moved the camera. I've got it all the tripods I have this thing balanced on a little basket here. I know. I guess it just works that way. So anyway, while we'd all like to take stuff like this, I know I would anyway, and I have, but again, that's when I'm getting paid and I've got assistants, either volunteers or people I have to pay money to help haul all the support gear, right? Because tripods are bigger, cameras, lenses, batteries, cables. So all that weight is cumulative, it adds up, and it's just not practical for a one-man band situation to stuff it in his or her backpack along with your food, your shelter, and go for any, a lot of my backpacking trips where I'm doing some video work could be 3-4 days in those 2-3 nights out in the sticks. So that's just not going to cut it. So then what I did is I knew that I'd want to take a GoPro. I'm using the GoPro Hero 7 right now to film this, even that because it's easy. But I want to take a GoPro, right? This is a Hero 9 that I have here, and get the content and the footage that I'm trying to capture out in the backcountry, and then mix that in with whatever other footage I happen to be getting with that camera, or heck, even my phone. So then I started pimping out my GoPro. I think a lot of us do this. I just do it because it looks cool, but it's not always practical, right? So here we've got a small rig cage for the GoPro Hero 9. They make it for all the GoPros. It's really cool. It's got a little thing to attach your audio dongle that we all stress about. And then with this dongle, you can do 2 things. Of course, you can power it up. So you've got a USB-C to keep that thing powered up for time lapse, or if you're going to go out and do, more than the 40 or 50 minutes that the typical GoPro battery gives you on a good day. Even though, as of this taping, they just released the Enduro, which I've heard good things about. But even that, just think about having to switch out, taking it out of the cage in order to switch out the batteries on your GoPro. So anyway, this dongle, but the main purpose of this was to, of course, to get audio. So I've got a little Sennheiser shotgun microphone here, a little MKE 400 I've had for a while. Great audio, great sound, a little bit better, a lot better actually than the little micro. I don't know if you can see that. There's that tiny little hole. There's like 3 of these. I thought there was only 2 on this particular model, the GoPro Hero 9, but apparently there's 3, and we'll get to that in a minute. But I would put my GoPro inside of this, of course, and then bring this, right, on the selfie stick, on a little tripod, and get some of that footage that I'm doing when I'm out in the backpacking. But even this kind of proved to be a little cumbersome, and you've got little wires hanging, and you even have to lift this little microphone because it gets into the shot. Even using this in linear mode, I think the focal view, and of course I'll correct myself when I look it up, I think it's like 18, or I think it's about 18 millimeters is the most narrow. That's telephoto for a GoPro apparently, and then it just gets wider from there. But even that, when it's mounted in there, will sometimes even catch this small little wind muff. So I started watching a bunch of YouTube videos like we all do, and found out about how people are using these little Ryco double stick tape covers that people use on talent with lavalier mics. So I don't know if you can see the picture there, but basically it's these little double stick stickers you know, in these little shapes, and then they use that to attach a lavalier mic to the talent under a shirt, or in a situation where they don't want the microphone being shown. But what I thought was cool is that I saw people attaching it and creating this little wind muff, because that was the big problem with the GoPros. And the audio's gotten better, the microphones have gotten better, especially from the 7 to the 8, and then the 9 is awesome. And I don't have the 10, but I heard that one's even a little bit better than this one. And the 2 or 3 microphones that are on there, and again, they're those tiny little holes, work awesome. However, the minute there's a little bit of wind, and of course, when is there not wind when you're outdoors, it's gonna screw with your audio. It's gonna really make it less, you know, less usable. Now, of course, you can put adapters. Like I said, you can put this, either this shotgun microphone, or you can use the wireless Go microphones. I've got a set of those that I've used with this. But again, we're introducing all this cumbersome wires and making this, all of a sudden that ends up becoming something like this, and that's not what we want. So what I saw is that people were saying, you know what, the microphones are good enough on the GoPro. They just need to get a little wind muff, like you have on your shotgun microphones, little dead cat to cover these, to help minimize the distortion that you get with wind. And so with these Rycote double stick tapes, what you end up doing is you're cutting them. Now here you can see I already have one. That one's been on there a while, but I need to cover this one. And then I found out, I didn't know until recently, that this is also a microphone. It's called the drain microphone, which I don't know. I thought it meant draining for the 2 microphones, one on the front, one on the top, but apparently there's a little microphone in there as well. I don't know when one is active over the other or how you can control that. I think I saw somewhere that you can do that. But what I want to do is get this little double stick tape from the Rycote, and then they come with these little tiny dead cats of their own, these little tiny little things, and they're a little fragile. There's a bunch of these knockoffs on Amazon, and they all pretty much work the same. So don't think you have to buy the most expensive one. Just get one with halfway decent reviews and affordable, where you get a bunch of these, because you're going to go through them, trust me, and end up cutting them, because initially they come like in a big circle like this. So they come like that, but obviously putting that on top of that, it's a little overkill. You might need the full-size one for this side one because of that, these empty open ports. But like here, I ended up cutting one of these in half and sticking it on there. And then of course what you'll do, and I'll show you here in a minute, is you get one of these double stick tapes, you use a little X-Acto razor and cut it a little bit smaller so it can just occupy the space that you need. And then of course make a little opening for the hole for the microphone, and then cut one of these. They give you I think about 6 of these. I gotta buy more. And then you can end up cutting this and then sticking it on there, and it works great. So today what I hope to do, I'll just show you this real quick. I'm gonna change the orientation of the camera and just show you what I mean about just covering it. Pretty self-explanatory. And then today it's pretty windy today where I live. I've got some gusts of wind of about 20, 25 miles an hour, so it might make for a good test of how this helps to minimize distortion on the audio. Okay, cool. Let's see how I can get this worked out. All right, hopefully I'm not too close to the camera. The camera is literally like 5 inches from my hands here, from my workspace. But anyway, I'll just show you real quick. I had already done this when I first got the GoPro Hero 9. I had covered this front part with one of these stickers. And what you do is you cut a little opening to where you think that microphone's going to be. Now here it's easy enough to spot. It's right there. See if I can get some more light on there. It's right there. It's that little hole. Now here, I didn't know until here recently that there's a microphone in there. I really can't see it, but it's called the drain microphone. So I got to figure a way of how to put the sticker here and then put the wind muff. I got to put the sticker here, and a little bit in the middle, but have these slits open, because somewhere in this area are the microphone, or is a microphone. But we'll see how I can do that. So again, what I'll do here, in fact, that one's already used. So you get one of these stickers. Now these are all circles, so you've got this material to work with. But basically, that top one's going to be easy enough. So I don't need this whole circle, so I'm going to cut this in half. No biggie there. Pretty straightforward. Get it all the way across. But then somewhere in here, I'll just cut a little square because I think I failed arts and crafts in primary education. So I'll just do my best here. And hopefully this GoPro 7 that I'm using is grabbing some of this. But I just want to make a little opening so that I can put that hole, you know, to not be covered up by this adhesive. So of course we just want to cover it up, but just with the little windscreen. So, oh man, I wish I had nails. I don't. Okay, here we go. So cutting the crap out of it and pull that stuff out. Okay, there it is, success. So see there, oops, sorry. I've got the little opening on the adhesive, and that bad boy, use this little tail end to peel off the whole thing. So we've got the little hole there so you can see it. And then in this case, I don't want to obstruct the record button. I just want to get that opening. Oh man, I'm old. I need my reading glasses. Oh, wait. No, come back. There it is. Boom. I don't know if you can see it. I can barely see it, but I'm old. Okay, so stick that on there. Got that microphone coming through that little hole, and then peel this part right here. And now you've got an adhesive material. And like I said, I had already cut one of these, basically in a quarter space, something small, and then just stick it right on top. So here, before I impale myself, get that out of there. And that is an instant dead cat for the built-in microphone for your GoPro. And I'm sure the GoPro 10 has, I think the placement of the microphones is about the same. So now I've got these two covered, and I think I would be great here, but like I said, I'm finding out that there's, hopefully someone can correct me in the comments, how and when this works, and if I can cover it. So I'm going to try covering this. So in that case, using a half sticker is not going to work. I'm probably going to have to use the whole sticker, but the problem is not covering that area. That's easy enough, but it's knowing, you know, how much of an opening I need to make on that. And that's going to be a little difficult. So I need to put some adhesive here on the top, here in the middle, and here there, and then just grab one of these big ones and just plop it right on there. And doing my best not to obstruct these slits here. So look, we already have one here kind of working for us. So let's grab this one and we'll just put it there. Okay, easy enough. So I just got it on the body of the GoPro. Now see, remember when you're doing this, then you really can't use these cages, or you can, but then you've got to unpeel that one and that one. And I think that's what's happened before, and then cover them again. So what I'm trying to do is not use this anymore and just use this for my audio needs. And now I'm going to stick that right there. Give it a little press. Now, not interfering with my button. And now I can peel these off, right? 1, 2, 3. So I don't know if you can see that, but the slits are open. And I was going to stick this one, but you know what? Screw it. I'm going to stick a whole brand new one. And I think I'm down to 2, so I better make sure. This is what they look like when they're not cut. When you cut them, they start fraying a little bit, which is okay. I'm going to trim it with little scissors anyway. I just need a little bit of material in there to help it do its job to block that distortion, but I don't want to cut too much, right? Because that's why you're using it. So here, just basically cover as much as I can without interfering with the power button. There you go. Perfect. Well, doesn't look perfect, but it is. Oh, nice. Oopsie, I turned it on. So there's my big one there. There's the front one, and then there's the top one. So. Okay. Take 3. I told you. Professional filmmaker, right? But when it comes to vlogging, I guess that's what this is called. It's a little different. But I'm out here testing these little wind muffs that I put on my GoPro Hero 9, the ones that you saw me stick on there with that double-sided tape. Right now there's no wind, but when I got here on the first couple takes, I got some big gusts, big breezes of wind, and I played back the audio, and you can still hear me, and I'm holding this at arm's length, so talking in a normal voice, trying not to shout. But I also put I have it on this El Grande selfie stick, so I was able to get it out, like, watch. I can get it out to here. So now you're about 3-4 feet away from me, and I've got a little bit of wind coming this way into the device. But talking in a normal voice, and I have been told I kind of talk loud, so maybe that's not fair, but it is so far, at least from the playback from the little tiny speaker on the GoPro, it sounds pretty good, and it is picking me up, and I'm not hearing all that rustling or distortion that you normally hear when there's wind hitting those microphones built into the GoPro. So of course the goal here, as much as I love my rigs and pimping things out, cameras and whatnot, in the case of a GoPro action camera or getting something to go with you, backpacking outdoors, it's all about minimizing weight. It's all about keeping things less cumbersome, and by that I mean not having these wires dangling or microphones sticking out, and most importantly, with respect to the GoPro, not compromising its inclement weather resistance capabilities. That's a lot of syllables, right? So of course by that I mean not having to open up that side door to plug in your audio adapter into the GoPro in order to add wireless microphones or shotgun microphones and whatnot. So nice little test. I got the breeze steady. It's coming in this direction, so it's hitting the thing. That's why I'm going in a circle here. And it's a little breezy, not too bad. Right now, just where I'm standing here, it's about little gusts of maybe 20 miles an hour. I think anything, once you get up to 30 and up, doesn't matter what size your windsock is, that's just not going to help. Audio is going to be distorted, but so far, hey, it's sounding pretty good, at least on the playback on those first two takes. Okay, the sun came out, and just want to get some of that perspective. But oh, the other thing I was saying in one of my other takes, I guess I have to repeat it again, is I'm also kind of testing out this jacket I'm wearing. It's a Helinox Tex Pilgrim Amarak. I don't think I say the words exactly correct, but it's a really cool outer shell. It does have some insulating properties, but predominantly it's to be used as an outside shell. And on this channel, of course, besides talking about camera gear, audio gear, I'm also talking about all that other stuff that for those of us that go out backpacking, hiking, and then also do the film work and photography, all that other support gear that we take. And certainly your footwear, your clothing is all super important. And so far I'm really liking this. It's not super expensive. It is a little pricey. It's about like $138. There are equivalent jackets just like this that are like $400 or $500, which I think is crazy, but I guess if it does the job and you got that kind of a piggy bank, that's awesome. But so far this jacket is really, I've only tested it a couple times, and it's been nice. It really does cut the wind. It's got some arm vents, and I'll go into another video about stuff like this to talk about how things like this support gear, clothing, and then certainly backpacking and tents and sleeping bags are all important in order to get you to achieve your goals with respect to being outdoors, photography, video work, stuff like that, drones and all that. Because in order to get those cool shots that maybe not as many people have seen, you gotta get away from the parking lots. You gotta try to venture as far in country as you can go from the trailhead, so that you can get hopefully shots that are going to be unique and worthwhile. And so to do that means having to book it and hike it several miles, possibly even staying a couple, 2-3 days, 2-3 nights to go with those days to get those shots. So, but we will get into that later in other videos. But this is a cool solution. Now, There is something similar to this where you basically put a foam shield all around the GoPro itself, and it does help cut down some of this rustling and wind muffling that we have. But I ordered one and tried it out, and it tore. Like I was very careful with it, but just getting it to stretch to put it onto the GoPro ended up tearing. And of course there's dozens of those things on Amazon. Maybe there's a couple that are a little more resilient or stronger than the one I got, but I didn't, just kind of left a bad impression in my dealing with that and my experience. So I said, you know what, let me look up some other solutions to getting the best from the built-in microphones on the GoPro, and that's where I ended up coming with this video. So now you've got the wind blowing into the GoPro. Now it just gusted up, as you can see, grass moving. 25, 30, I suppose. So hopefully on playback, we'll see how well these little dead cats work. But I'm liking it so far. I think it's working really well. I suppose I could have done this as a comparison, but I'm using my this is my iPhone 11 Pro. Just it's in an OtterBox Defender case. I don't know where the microphones are on this. I don't think they're being blocked, and of course no wind muffs on this sucker. But just using the iPhone as is as a comparison. Now the wind did die down, so that's not too fair. But see if we can get a gust going, and we can do that comparison. Look at that! I love flares. Yeah, I know, flares. But so far, yeah, like I said, this little GoPro. Let's see if I can get better light here. This little GoPro has been working well. I do like having these little wind muffs on there, and so far, just on playback audio using the little speakers that are on this GoPro, it sounds pretty good, and it seems to be doing its job, because I had that wind really kind of rustling through pretty quickly, and it seems to be doing its job, meaning these little dead cats. Hope you like this video. Again, like I said, just please share any comments or anything that you may know about it, and I won't know if you're right or wrong until I actually try it for myself. That's the whole key to learning, right? Is you won't know until you actually have done it yourself and got the results that you were looking for. So that's it. Oh, look at that, picturesque. And yes, I used to do a lot of mobile filming with just my iPhone. In fact, I'll post a picture here where I had that thing pimped out, the iPhone before this, but I had it on a freaking Ronin gimbal, anamorphic lens, and I wired it with two wireless Go microphones to do it like a interview mode. I mean, it's crazy, right? I thought it was cool. I mean, it did the job, to be honest with you, but that's not the intent of the phone. It's not saying it can't do it. It can, but should it? Maybe that's the question. I don't know. That's why I like this little GoPro, because it's relatively cheap compared to a phone. iPhones are like $1,000 and more. And then of course that other big monster rig I have is really expensive. But using these little GoPros, these action cameras, you know, for under $500, and yes, that's a chunk of change too, but you know, get a couple of used ones, see what you can get out of it and not risk losing a recording device like this if you don't have to. So, all right, check on you later. Bye.